Hey, it's Andrew, and I think that PC handhelds are going to kill off traditional handhelds here at some point. Since the PS5 and the Xbox Series X released, I think we can all agree that console gaming hasn't been as awesome and amazing as it used to be. When those consoles released, they were kind of hard to get a hold of, and they didn't really do anything game-changing. When we look at the Xbox One and the PS4 even, there was a huge step up in graphics and scale, and everybody was excited and gaming. At the time though, PC gaming wasn't really as accessible and parts were really expensive, making it much more difficult to get into. In recent years though, we've seen PC gaming become much more accessible, and with the advent of crossplay in a ton of big multiplayer titles, a lot of people have been shifting over to PC gaming because they can still play with all their friends and they just want a better experience. In another realm of the console gaming scene though, in 2017, Nintendo released the Switch. And since then, it's always been on its own, doing its own thing, being comfortable, so nobody was really concerned about it as a competitor. It didn't really threaten the big traditional consoles like the PlayStation and Xbox, but what the Switch offered was really exciting and interesting to a lot of casual gamers. The convenience and features that the Switch uniquely offered at the time were really interesting to traditional gamers. The convenience of being able to play your big game on the couch, hanging out, having fun, and then pick up your system and walk right out the door with it and play it on the go was a really big deal at the time. For gamers who loved previous Nintendo handhelds, this was a whole new world. Handhelds of the past, like the DS and the Game Boy, were some of the most loved and beloved consoles of all time, simply because of the convenience of being able to go anywhere and play awesome games that people love. And with the Switch, the convenience of being able to play these bigger scale console, traditional at-home games on the go was just awesome. It was a dream come true. Now, I want to point out the convenience factor has been a major shifting point for many different industries. You look at some of the biggest disruptors in big tech and you see things like Uber, DoorDash, Spotify, or in hardware you see things like the iPhone combining the iPod, web browsing, phones, or things like the Kindle, which made reading on a digital device comfortable and cool. All of these developments made the things that they were tackling way more convenient and way more accessible. With the innovation that the Nintendo Switch made and the continued advancement and accessibility of PC hardware, the natural successor was gonna be something like the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally. And these systems have made much more high-level, large-scale console gaming accessible on the go. You can play at home on a display, having a blast, and then pick up your system, hop on a bus, and just keep playing the same game. Or if you're like most millennials, you pick it up from the display, you go lay down in bed and play in bed when you should be sleeping. Doing all of these things at a larger scale and a higher visual fidelity, but not losing any of the comfort. If we look back at some of the original gaming home consoles, their goal was to make gaming at home more convenient. They brought games home from the arcade so you didn't have to go out and about to go just play video games. And the primary advancement of home gaming consoles relied on two things. One was just fun, how fun was it? And two was the advancement of visual fidelity, mechanics, performance, how far we could push things technologically. But with modern gaming, we've kind of peaked as far as just pure visual fidelity goes. The only way to push further is by packing much more high-end parts into consoles that drive the price up further than most console buyers want. And it's important to note that there are really two types of gamers, kinda three. First of all, you have hardcore gamers, which want the highest end experience and prioritize PC builds and power over everything else. They spend tons of time gaming and they really focus on high fidelity graphics or high-end performance. The other type of gamer is the more casual gamer. These guys just want to have fun and enjoy some big awesome games. And they're not generally caring as much about ray tracing or pushing 400 frames as your hardcore audience. And the casual gamers make up a big majority of just gamers in general, and they kind of have a few choices now when it comes to what they want to play on. You have a PC, which is like $900 if you're trying to really push past a console. You have a console, which is between $500 and $700, or now they kind of have a choice on a PC handheld, which ranges between $400 and $700. Also, the third type of gamer is somebody who kind of rides the middle like me. I sold my expensive gaming PC, but I don't want the minimum types of specs, so I didn't have have a problem getting a PS5 Pro. I think I'm a bit of a dying breed. I don't really care one side or another, but I do want a solid experience. Consoles are kind of pricey when you want to game casually, and then you got to look at expensive game prices or subscription prices that drive that monthly cost up even more. You can do the same on PC, but you have marketplaces like Steam that are offering far better sales on a pretty consistent basis, even with newer games. And this isn't even talking about marketplaces like G2A, where you can buy game keys for far cheaper. And this accessibility to cheaper games and cheaper sales does fall to PC handhelds as well, which fall in the same price bracket as consoles, making them a great value if you want to acquire games. And let's go back to talking about convenience. The Switch was the first system to offer the home console experience on the go. And no, I'm not counting the PlayStation Vita as the first one to do that. That was a handheld more than a home console. Sound Shapes was amazing, and I even played Borderlands 2 on it, which was really weird with the back touchscreen button. It's not Ghost of Tsushima, it's not Spider-Man. But nowadays though, we've got an evolution on that grab and go experience. The ROG Ally X can play games at a really compelling rate when it's docked at a setup, and then it can also do the same when you're on the go. My girlfriend plays on a docked Steam Deck almost exclusively in order to get her Sims 4 fix. PC handhelds are currently doing great, and their market share is getting bigger, and the technology is advancing also. These handhelds are getting better, the performance is getting better, the battery life is getting better, and this means that they are becoming more compelling to the buyer. The value and advancement in value that we're getting from these PC handhelds is going at a much faster rate than the improvements we're seeing in home consoles. The advancements that the Series X and the PlayStation 5 made over their previous counterparts is far lesser than the advancements the 360 and the PS3 made when we jumped to the PS4 and the Xbox One. And that jump of quality is starting to narrow as the console industry is starting to plateau. Console manufacturers kind of have two choices right now. Make games that are fun and cool and actually sell the systems, which they're not gonna do. Look at what they've been doing. They're either putting it on PC or just putting out subpar games. And the other option is to get more expensive so they can actually improve. Games will look incredible and run great if you throw $2,000 worth of PC parts into a home console. What casual gamer wants to pay for that though? They just want to play games and have fun. And games already look really good. We don't need things like mirrors in games showing the characters at all times. And I think this is also reflected in the fact that, besides the fact they were really hard to get a hold of, when the new current consoles released, a lot of people stayed and were happy on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. There's still a massive install base on the PlayStation 4, which are playing games and having a great time. So this is my prediction for the future. The value of these PC handhelds is going to get greater and greater as it starts to rival the power and fidelity of these traditional home consoles. And the accessibility, because of cheaper marketplaces, games, less subscriptions, as well as the power and price of these handhelds, is going to begin to start taking people away from their traditional consoles. And I can even see the main console manufacturers moving in to try and take advantage of this swaying industry. We could see revivals of the things like the PSP or even the mythical X-Boy. PC handhelds bring more accessibility to an average audience and bring better value to average gamers. Once the tech rivals traditional consoles and provides the extra portability and convenience of a handheld, as well as a PC OS for the people who kind of want that, I think that you'll see consoles taking nosedive. More hardcore gamers are already using PCs than anything else, and they will continue to, especially as PC parts become more accessible and continue to come down in price. Years ago, when you opened a new home console, it always felt like Christmas. It was excited, and booting up a new system came with a joy that nothing else provided. But nowadays, that magic has been lost. When I opened up the PS5 Pro, I was like, cool, the packaging kind of sucks. It makes Demon's Souls look prettier though. But I would be lying if I didn't say that I experienced that similar to opening a GameCube on Christmas style feeling when I opened up my Steam Deck or the ROG Ally X. These gadgets are cool and convenient, and they do away with a lot of the annoying elements of modern console gaming, such as exclusively $70 titles and limiting operating systems. PC handhelds are going to kill traditional game consoles at some point, and the PC handhelds of today are going to be the traditional consoles of tomorrow. I have no doubt that Microsoft at some point is just gonna do an Xbox UI for Windows that allows any third-party PC handheld to boot directly into Xbox and get marketing for the Game Pass, and they will slowly let the Xbox die. If you have any questions or thoughts and want to chat, please drop a comment under this video. If you don't, consider dropping your favorite emoji. It helps out the engagement of this video. Social links are down in the description if you want to check those out. I'm doing behind the scenes, director's cut versions of videos if you want to learn a little bit about the creative process and how I make some stuff. So if you want to become a member, you'll get access to those. Thank you to D. Sanchez for being a member on this channel. It helps keep the lights on, and I'm incredibly grateful. And hey, thank you so much for watching. Peace.